Boo 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 boo! This video contains games with mature content because Halloween is nearly here and the switching hour will soon be upon us. Some people like to trick or treat this time of year, others like to go to parties, and some like to indulge in horror movies and play horror based games. If you fall into the latter group, then you are in good company, because that is exactly how we like to spend Halloween.
The Switch has so many fantastic games very well suited for this time of year, and we have picked out 10 of them that we would recommend anyone to try on October 31st. We prefer not to spoil what's on our list in the introduction, so the games you're seeing footage of now are some honourable mentions.
They can be scary games, complete gore fests, or cutesy cartoony games with a ghostly theme. So if you really want to play Calculation Castle Greco's Ghostly Challenge Multiplication, you are of course free to do so. My word, he has 5 games on the eShop. I'm Dave.
I'm Sophie.
And let's crack on with 10 Switch games that are perfect to play on Halloween.
Luigi's Mansion 3. Luigi's Mansion was first released on the GameCube, where you explored a big mansion in search of Mario, encountering ghosts along the way and sucking them up in your trusty Hoover. The sequel came to the 3DS and it played differently, with 5 different mansions and a smaller mission-based structure as you reassemble the Dark Moon. This third one puts you in a hotel, with new moves, interesting looking floors, and of course, Gooigi. We've avoided finding out too much about this game as we want to be surprised when we finally play it. But from what we have seen, this looks to be a fun time with co-op and competitive multiplayer to boot. And it comes out on Halloween too, so I imagine it will be in plenty of Switches on that day.
The Binding of Isaac. From something child-friendly to a game that is very child-unfriendly. As in, it is very unfriendly to the child in this game. Isaac's mother is out to kill him, believing she is doing the Lord's bidding, and Isaac takes refuge in the basement, and all sorts of madness ensues. You run around the randomly generated dungeons shooting tears at the enemies as you try and make your way to the bottom level. I have never completed a run on this game, it can get very difficult, and I really can't identify what a lot of the enemies are supposed to be, and there's a lot of blood and poo around. But the gameplay is so fun and addictive, I can easily lose an evening on this. Plus there's co-op too, which is nice.
Ballboy. From one strange round-headed boy to another, Ballboy is a sort of point-and-click style adventure where you control a boy who has a light bulb for a head. The art style and audio is cute, horrific, amusing and at times downright disgusting. You are on a quest to find your grandpa and weird dog-fly hybrid thingy. You encounter many strange beings along the way and flashbacks show you how they may have originated from moments in Ballboy's past. Ballboy is a game you should definitely switch on.
Limbo. I first played Limbo on the Xbox 360. It is a puzzle platformer where you take control of a boy on a quest where he stumbles across representations of his fears. The giant spider you encounter early on freaked me out when I first played it. The game draws you in with its art style and eerie atmosphere, and it gets progressively harder until you reach the end, which stuck with me for a while afterwards. This is definitely a game you should experience.
Super Ghouls and Ghosts. We have reached our pick from the Super Nintendo app and on Nintendo Switch Online. In this game you play as Arthur, a knight whose armour just falls off whenever he touches anything. This game is fiendishly hard with controls that take some getting used to. Luckily though, on this version you can always cheat, use the handy rewind feature to redo any parts you make a mistake on. I gave this game a go and it was really hard, I hated it, but just couldn't stop trying it again.
There are several Resi games on the eShop, some of which are on sale at the time of recording. If you were to buy just one of them, then my personal pick would be Resident Evil 4. I first owned it on the GameCube, then on the Wii, which is the version you are looking at now. I was on the fence on the Resident Evil games before this one came out, but after playing it, I bought all the ported Resi games on the GameCube and beat them all, and loved the series from then on, and I have this game to thank for it. The over-the-shoulder camera works really well, and it's a lot of fun to blast the heads off of these not zombies. Even if Ashley can be annoying, if you've never played this game before, then you owe it to yourself to give it a try.
Mortal Kombat 11. When we said Gorefest earlier, you all knew this game would be on the list. Mortal Kombat 11 on the Switch may not look as good as its PlayStation and Xbox counterparts, but it runs very smoothly. The new fatal blows are gruesome, the story mode is fantastic, and it's always fun to pull off a fatality. There are some new characters and familiar ones, and it's so satisfying to pull off those special moves and see the blood go flying. You can find this game quite cheap now physically, and the Terminator is now even available as DLC, and we all know Arnie makes everything better, even if it's not actually him voicing it.
Fatality.
Decap Attack. This game is available on the Mega Drive Classics Collection. I have a real soft spot for this game, despite never playing it as a child. I did, however, read Sonic the Comic, which featured some amazing long-running stories set in the Sonic universe. They also had some stories to other franchises, such as Streets of Rage, Wonder Boy and Shining Force. Those only lasted for one story spanning multiple issues, but when Decap Attack had a turn, it was so popular they kept it on and it became a bigger staple to Sonic the Comic than it did to the gaming world. The stories had a lot of crazy Monty Python style humour. One story I remember was when a monster hunter arrived at the village looking for the monster Chuck D. Head, that's the monster you play as in this game. When he asked the villager where the castle is, they all gasp and say not to go there. When he says, so the rumours are true then, the woman says, yes. Every Tuesday night, the professor practices his yodeling, we don't dare approach. Eventually he sees Chuck, but doesn't think he's a real monster, so just leaves. So that story really didn't go anywhere. But the final panel says, meanwhile, up at the castle, and you see the professor on his balcony yodeling. This had nothing to do with the story, but it was so bizarre, and it's the reason I remember this otherwise forgettable issue. Every story they did was filled with daft stuff like that. It was stupid, it was random, it had absolutely nothing to do with the game it was based on, but it was hilarious. And it is for that reason you should all play Decap Attack.
Crash Team Racing Nitro Field. I know, this isn't a horror game, but we had to include it as it is a fantastic racer that everyone should play. The reason we mention it being a game to play this Halloween is that it currently has a spooky themed Grand Prix that has added a fun new course set in a haunted woods with horrifying pumpkins, a tree with legs that can stomp you and finishing up through a castle. The new character Nina Cortex is a devilishly good addition to the roster. So grab some friends, share out the Joy-Cons and whomp start your engines.
Disconcerting. Most disconcerting.
The Castlevania Collection. This is available on the eShop, and it includes 8 games at a very reasonable price. Whether you think all of them are good or not is up to you, but the 2 I would like to highlight from it are the original, which I really love and cannot get enough of, and Super Castlevania 4, which feels like a huge upgrade, and it's just one of those games that feels perfect to me. I really like Castlevania 3 too, but I haven't given much time to the others on this collection. So the 4th one is the recommendation for this list. It's very difficult, but in a good way. The controls are spot on, the whip is a lot of fun to use, and the graphics and sound give off such a cool and creepy atmosphere that cannot be matched if you are looking for some retro goodness to get you in the Halloween mood. The collection also includes Kid Dracula, if you're that way inclined.
Those are the 10 games we recommend you play this Halloween. What games do you recommend? Let us know in the comments down below what you think we should try out.
Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, then give us a like, and if you want to see more like this, then make sure you subscribe for more to come, including us trying out Luigi's Mansion 3 when it gets released. So goodbye everyone!
Happy Halloween!